Hey everybody, it's Mallory and I am super excited to be here with you guys today. I don't know about y'all, but I am really starting to miss some people who I haven't seen in a while. It's really hard to be away from people that we care about. Today we're going to be learning about a man who had a sickness called leprosy, and like the coronavirus, people were afraid to catch it, so he had to be away from his friends and family. But Jesus helped him, and Jesus helps us when we're lonely too. So before we get started, why don't we go ahead and grab the supplies that you'll need. So you'll need your thankful journals, markers or crayons. I have markers, but whatever works. A ruler or a tape measure, and then a container that is 1/3 of the way full of water. It also helps if it doesn't have to be a food container, it could be a water bottle or anything like that, but as long as it seals tightly. And then you'll need some oil. I will wait just a second and y'all pause the video. Also want to take a minute to talk about this week's God sightings. So how have you guys seen God at work this week? I'll share mine. It's been really cloudy and gross and rainy the past like 2 or 3 weeks, but starting this past weekend, so like Sunday morning, it was finally sunny and like the sun was out and it was getting warm, which is super nice. And that's probably the biggest way that I've seen God this week, just in how beautiful it was outside. Even with all those great things that God has been doing in y'all's lives right now, there's still a lot of hard things that are going on too. I wonder what's been the hardest thing for you during this whole entire coronavirus situation. For me, it's really been being away from my friends, who I don't really get to see all that often during the summer at all anyway, and so our school year getting cut short, our time together got cut short, which is really upsetting. So pause me to share with your family what's been hard for you. One of the hardest things for many people is not being able to see friends and extended family. For me, I miss a lot of my friends that are in a club with me, but specifically, I miss Hannah Hackworth. So pause the video and talk to your family and share the name of a person that you guys miss. Being separated from people that we care about can make us feel lonely, but Jesus's power helps us when we're lonely. Let us hear about how Jesus's power helped a man in the Bible who was probably very lonely.
Back in Bible times, there was a disease called leprosy. If you got it, you'd get painful sores all over your body. There was no cure, and often people who caught it would die or lose fingers and toes. People were afraid of catching it, much like people are afraid of the coronavirus right now. What are some things that we're supposed to do right now to avoid catching the coronavirus? Pause the video and list as many as you can. One thing we're supposed to do is wash our hands really well. Let's pretend to wash our hands while we sing the ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Look, our hands are all clean. We're also supposed to stay away from other people. That's called social distancing. We're being told that to stay safe from catching the coronavirus, we're supposed to be 6 feet away from everyone else. Let's try that. Use your ruler or tape measure to make sure everyone in the room is standing or sitting at least 6 feet apart. If you don't have a way to measure, it's okay. Just guess. People in Bible times knew all about social distancing. In fact, they were so afraid of catching leprosy, it was against the law for someone with leprosy to even come into the city. And if someone with leprosy was around other people, he or she had to call out, "Unclean! Unclean!" so everyone around would know to stay away. No one wanted to accidentally touch someone with leprosy. All those rules must have made people who had leprosy feel pretty lonely. Let's try something. Without losing your 6 feet of separation, reach out and try to hug the other people in your family. Remember, don't lean in and get closer than 6 feet. I'll reach out and try and hug you. Unless you have really long arms, you aren't even able to touch anybody. No hugs, no pats on the back, just you in your own little bubble. Here's a question for you to talk about. How do you think it would feel to have to be this far apart from everyone for years? Pause me while you talk about it. It could be pretty lonely to not be able to be close enough to hug anyone for a very long time. But let's see what Jesus did when he met someone who had leprosy. If you want to follow along in your Bible, look up Matthew 8, 1 through 3. While Jesus walked along, a man with leprosy came up to him out of the crowd. The man knew Jesus had the power to heal his leprosy, so he said to Jesus, "Lord, if you are willing, you will heal me."
One way Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely is to remind us that Jesus is our friend. No matter what's going on right now, no matter where you are, you always have a friend that's right there for you and not 6 feet apart. You know, I think we should sing a song about that.
Thanks for watching Lifetree Kids.
The people in Jesus' time didn't want people with leprosy mixing in with everybody else. I have a fun mix it up science experiment we can try to help us think more about that. So it's time to use your oil and your clear container of water. Now we're ready for some sciencey fun. Pour some oil into your container so there's about an equal amount of oil and water. Looks great. If you can, close the container tight. Mine has a lid. You may want an adult to double check. Will you check that this lid is on tight? I have to have an adult check.
Your lid is on tight, Anna.
Now, for 10 seconds, shake the container or stir it if you can't close it. I'll count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now stop and take a look at our mixture. We've mixed it really well. Now let's see what happens as it settles down. While we're waiting to see what happens, pause the video and talk about this with your family. What do you miss most because you're separated from others right now? I miss seeing my friends and going to Target and going other places as well. As the mixture settles down, it doesn't look like the oil and the water are really mixed. It seems like the oil and the water want to stay separate. I think they're practicing social distancing. Oil and water want to stay separate, but it isn't so natural for us. Being separated from others can make us feel lonely. But we can turn to Jesus for help because Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely.
Even though we're separated from a lot of our friends, we still have our family here with us, and we can still connect with people online and even do online Sunday school together. If it's healthier for you, go ahead and gather with your family for a nice group hug. And if it's not safe to hug someone right now, try and give someone a long distance hug, like this. And then just thank Jesus for each person in your family by calling them by name. Ready? Here you go. Focusing on the people Jesus has put in our lives, even in the hard time, can help us feel less alone. And that's one way Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely. So when the video ends, draw a picture in your thankfulness journal of someone that you're thankful for that you can connect with during this time, either in person or online. Put today's date on that page and keep adding to the journal this week as you see more God's sightings next week.